Today we're going to talk about the new Netflix series, Never Have I Ever. So let's get started. Hey everybody, my name is Justin. I love to watch movies. If you guys love to watch movies too and Netflix, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming videos. Today we're talking about the new upcoming Netflix series, Never Have I Ever. This story centers around a complicated life of a teenage Indian American named Devi. In the first episode, it is explained that her father had dropped dead in the middle of an orchestra concert, and then she lost the power of her legs for a solid 3 months. But she is entering a new school year and she is able to walk again, so she is hopeful that this new school year brings love and new friendships, while also dealing with her mother and her cousin that lives with her. This is a really well-written show that has a lot of emotions. It's very relatable. It's one of the best Netflix shows I've seen this year. From Kirsten Ramakrishnan, if that's how you pronounce her name, I'm truly sorry. She gives a really, really good performance in here. Easily the best part of the show. She's able to balance so many different things in the show when it calls for some of the emotional moments when she's thinking of her father and being alone. Those moments really do come out, and there are some really heartbreaking moments within the show and truly emotional moments and kind of make you tear up as well. The performance from her is outstanding, from her that she's never done anything before. And she beat out like 1,500 girls for this role. And it is truly outstanding, her performance. Easily one of the best Netflix performances I've seen this year. She's so relatable and she's so easygoing, but she's also very fun. But she's dealing with all this trauma in her life while trying to balance friendships and boys as well, also trying to please her mother and her cousin. She's dealing with a lot, and I think Ramakrishnan does a great job of handling all of that to be a really likable character, but relatable as well. What also makes this show work so well is just it's not focused on Devi. It's also focused on the people in her life and at high school as well. We have John McEnroe, who is the narrator. He is a famous tennis player, and it's a little bit odd that he is narrating it, but they do explain the connection that he has to the story. He's kind of flat at times. It was interesting at first, but I think that it kind of wore off a little bit. There is an episode towards the end where Andy Samberg actually comes in and narrates one episode, which I thought was really amusing. So we have a lot of focus on other characters rather than Devi. And that was something that was really refreshing because some of the characters that you initially did not like in the beginning of the series got a lot of development and a lot of depth to where you actually cared about them at the end of the series, and you felt like they had a good connection with Devi. Some characters that you liked in the beginning, you got to know a little more of, and you ended up not liking them at the end of the series. So that's one thing that I found very refreshing about this show. It was willing to give so much depth and character growth for a lot of other characters rather than Devi. The performances in here are just really good from Devi and her mother and her cousin, her friends as well. And the progression of this 10-episode series truly builds on each episode to where you care about the characters and you're invested in the story, and it leads to a very emotional ending that wrapped up Devi's storyline really well. It was a very touching, heartbreaking moment for Devi and what she was doing. I really liked how the show ended, and I found it to be really funny as well. There was many times that I was laughing out loud, and I started to watch it, and I found myself really enjoying just the first few minutes of the series, and that really never let go. This was a show that I immediately was hooked on, and I cared about the characters, the story, the performances are really good. It turned out to be a really bright, surprising, really tight script show that I was really invested in right from the beginning. I really like your typical teenage high school movies, the 80s and the 90s and 2001s. Those are all a blast. They all kind of feel the same, and elements, like I said, from those are in here, but this is also based on a little bit of Mindy Kaling's life, but it also does feel like it's borrowing a lot from other shows and movies as well, and I really liked how it was blending that all together. The show balances a lot of things, like her being an Indian American, trying to please her family and listening to those rules that they have, while also balancing her friendships and boys as well, and makes it for really relatable. Even if you are not Indian, there's a lot of things that you could appreciate about the show, and you can relate to it as well. Her trying to navigate through high school and friendships and relationships all as well, things many people can relate to, I think was all presented in a really realistic way. Never Have I Ever was a great show. I highly recommend checking the series out when it hits Netflix. It is one of the best shows I've seen on Netflix so far this year. It's a really surprising show. I wasn't expecting too much of it, not knowing the synopsis or even watching the trailer. Just going into the series blind, I came out of it really, really happy. I'm going to go ahead and give Never Have I Ever an A-. Thank you guys for checking my review for Never Have I Ever, written by Mindy Kaling. Definitely check it out when it hits Netflix, and stay tuned for more up and coming Netflix content. My name is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.